Tormented Souls is a third-person survival horror game developed by Dual Effect in 2021. Basically, the game is what you would get if the Silent Hill franchise and classic Resident Evil made a beautiful baby. This game is at once a loving homage to the pillars of the survival horror genre, complete with fixed camera angles, tank controls, a comic inability to walk and reload simultaneously, an unreasonable amount of careless people who just leave snippets of their diaries all over the place, and a mansion architect with a penchant for secret passageways and convoluted locking mechanisms. But the similarities don't stop there. You'll find yourself at various points having to traverse through mirrors to find supplies and solve puzzles in a distorted version of reality, and yes, there is a distinct lack of floor and a flair for exposed, rusted pipes and grates in this alternate reality. The game has you play as a young woman named Caroline who, under mysterious circumstances, receives a photograph of two twins with some cryptic text on the back. Being the overly concerned citizen that she is, she shows up at the front door of a creepy, abandoned hospital all by herself. Come on, she didn't even have the good sense to bring a gaggle of villagers with torches and pitchforks? Not a good look, Caroline. You know what else isn't a good look? Showing up to such a place in a summer dress and a leather jacket. Do you look great? Yeah, but what the hell were you thinking? Her distinct lack of preparedness becomes her undoing when she gets bonked on the head almost immediately after entering the building. After a disturbing scene in a bathtub, are they ever not? She wakes up to find that she has one less eye. And again, her first thought isn't, let's get the fuck out of here. As a character, Caroline is very likable. I don't agree with many of her life choices, but I was rooting for her all the way. The voice actor was expressive, and I really felt like her voice fit perfectly with Caroline. But the voice actor could use a few more lessons in acting. I'm not saying it was horrible, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that there were moments in the game where how the voice actor said things distracted me from the overall experience. I could tell she was trying, but it came off as forced or robotic. This caused laughter where there should have been genuine concern for Caroline's well-being. I thought the story was pretty consistent and well written. Though the documents I found throughout the mansion could get up to 5 or 6 pages of reading, it wasn't a total slog to get through them, only because of how strong the writing is. Let that be a warning to the devs. That is the saving grace. Had they not benefited from such stellar writing, you would have lost my interest with such a mountain of reading. There's also a plot twist that I totally saw coming, but it's still super original and I'm not going to spoil it here. And I think that's actually the perfect way to sum up this game's narrative. While Tormented Souls pays homage to the pillars of survival horror and even employs some of their devices, the game still manages to deliver a completely unique and pretty original experience. Another strength of the game is the soundscape. From the voices of the monsters to the sound effects to the soundtrack, everything fits this fucked up hellscape perfectly. Even when there was no visible threat, the sense of dread never quite left me throughout the entire playthrough, because the soundscape did its job. Finally, let's talk about the gameplay. It's a mixture of exploration/puzzle solving and combat. The difficulty level of both aspects is satisfying and never frustrating. Sure, you might stare at a puzzle for longer than you'd care to admit, feeling like a big dumb idiot, but you'll get it eventually. And yeah, you might have to redo a few stretches of the game because you just can't swing your crowbar fast enough and you're all out of ammo, but it never felt like I just couldn't get past a section of the game. So, if you want a genuinely terrifying experience with a gripping story full of exciting twists, look no further. $19.99 is a very reasonable asking price for a solid game.